Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Krishna from the discipline of physics at IIT Gandhi Nagar, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this session. We are very thankful to Dr. S.K. Varshne for giving us time and agreeing to deliver a talk on the overview of international scientific cooperation and DST schemes. Dr. Varshne is a scientist G and currently heading the International Cooperation Division of DST India, and is responsible for facilitating bilateral, multilateral, and regional scientific cooperation of India with its partner countries. Dr. Varshne has worked on Counselor Science and Technology with Embassy of India in Moscow to facilitate bilateral scientific cooperation between India and Russia during the period 2008 to 2011. During this time, I had an opportunity actually to meet him and interact with him in Novosibirsk, Russia. He pursued research at University of Delhi on Himalayan river systems, sedimentation, and tectonic modifications. He was awarded Dr. D.N. Wadia Research Fellowship for his research on Himalayan geology. Dr. Varshne has been contributing significantly to the promotion of international scientific cooperation, as well as scientific industrial collaboration. Besides being a wonderful administrator, he is also a very well-known speaker and known for his strong authority to share his rich experiences in a very simple and lucid language. Without any further delay, I therefore thank Dr. Varshne once again for joining us today and invite him to deliver his talk.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna. Well, I would need really to make an effort to recall our meeting in Novosibirsk, because that was a period when I used to meet so many Indian scientists, and I'm really sorry. I do not have immediate memory, but I'll try to find out. So friends, thank you. I thank IIT Gandhi Nagar and Dr. Krishna Day for inviting me here and to talk about international cooperation. Just a moment, let me organize myself. To give you an overview of international scientific cooperation and DST schemes, what we are offering. So today we shall be talking about that why we should go for international cooperation, what are the requirements, and what are the different thought processes being followed by various agencies, departments, and governments, and how you can play a role in developing such collaborations. And then we will see how does it matter when we are talking about overall science development in the country. So first thing is, why do we need collaborations? Many of us comes from a vertical, that vertical through our education. So we are trained physicists, chemists, biologists, mathematicians, engineers, or it could be within engineers also, we could be anything like mechanical engineer, computer engineer, civil engineer. And the challenges which nature offers us, they are not confined to a given vertical. For example, recently we have gone through COVID. Now, COVID was a multidimensional problem. And in fact, of course, engineers have not been acknowledged, but a lot of engineering solutions have gone in dealing with the COVID issues. So the moment we think of COVID, we think about doctors, we think about pharma sectors, which did the research and eventually produced some solutions. But it was engineering which helped the pharma industry in multiplication of whatever was done by the scientists. Engineering which helped the pharma industry to deliver the vaccine in nook and corner of the country. Remember, our country has got all varieties. We have got hills, we have got plains, we have got coastal areas, we have got inaccessible area, we have got areas where there is no transport services. So how does it goes to them in a given conditions? Currently, last week or so, we are facing the problem of extreme rainfall. Now, is it a singular problem of climatology or, for that matter, meteorology, weather science? No. It is a lot of efforts in terms of administration, management, drainage system. So civil engineering is involved, artificial intelligence is involved, because we should predict how often and how much rainfall we are going to get, and then how we would be controlling or how we would be utilizing the water, how much water should drain out. So what I'm trying to say is that even though we would have graduated in a given system of education in 1 degree or 2 degree, our thought process remain confined to whatever we are exposed to. So it is always good to collaborate and collaborate with a person who has different background, different approach to work out solutions, a composite solutions to a challenge which we are facing. So if we could develop a collaborations, if we could work out that what the best way, you should go for collaboration. Now, collaboration is not confined to anything. You could collaborate with a colleague in the department. You could collaborate with a colleague in another department of your institution. You could collaborate with a colleague in another institution, or you could collaborate with a colleague outside India. So today my talk would be confined to collaborations outside India. Question is, why are we going for international corporations? So main thing is, you must realize our challenges, our issues are our priorities. So we must develop a national program. We must develop our own issues. And we should see that if our programs are there, our missions are there, how we are doing value addition through international corporations. Now remember, if we do not have a strong national program, it may not be possible for us to fetch a good quality international cooperation. Because then what happens, you would be driven by the demand of your partner rather than you are meeting your own goal, what you would like to do. Remember, research is highly competitive. Competitive in terms of knowledge generation, in terms of time, in terms of conversion of that knowledge into products. So we need to remain competitive. And if we could apportion the kind of work to be done for a given goal, and each partner plays their role, we could gain not only time advantage, but also we could do it at a lower cost. So in research, competitiveness is there, and international cooperation could provide you the global competitiveness edge. The third point which I have written is addressing global challenges. So for example, of course, COVID has been an issue in last couple of years, but then there are several issues dealing with agroclimatic zones, dealing with particular disease, development of vehicles. For example, now we are talking about electric vehicle or cleaner fuel, or those kind of challenges. So those issues are much bigger than particular country, and a lot of efforts is required from various quarters. So if we know that this is the challenge we are facing globally, probably international cooperation could work out. I'll just give you an example that there are some diseases which have been identified with countries which are having poor economy, like tuberculosis. Rich countries do not want to put money on. So now what we have decided, we will go for work on tuberculosis in open channel, what they say, open drug discovery program. And anybody in any part of the world, whosoever is working on tuberculosis will put their research output in that pot so that the global community as a whole get benefit. So challenges could be anything, but remember our basic challenge are growing populations. India is now 1.4 billion people, and just yesterday it was released that by next year, India would be the most populous country in the world. So remember, it's for such a huge number of people, we need to provide food, we need to provide healthcare, we need to provide water, we need to provide energy, and we are still deficient in those sectors. Then a good environment. We need to, so those challenges are there, which are global in nature, and we need to work out possible answers through our research. Then there are several facilities which we call mega science facilities or advanced facilities, and these facilities are created with the participation of number of countries. For example, CERN in Geneva or FAIR in Germany. Idea is several countries put together. These are multi-billion-dollar projects, and each country is depending upon their interests, scientific interests, and their resources, what kind of resource they are going to put. They decide their share. So what we are doing, that we are also participating in some of these projects and try to see how best we could make out of it. Then we are not only promoting research through international cooperation, we are also looking at how that knowledge which has been generated could be converted into some commercial developments. And for that, we are promoting ecosystem of innovation and technology entrepreneurships. Now, remember, when India is dealing, we are dealing with two kinds of countries. One, which are developed, more developed than us. For example, countries in US, North America, or in Europe, and where we could market our own technologies. Countries like Africa, those in South America, those in Africa, or in Asia. So we need to see how we can do a spread of our innovation and entrepreneurships through this route. And for that purpose, we are supporting applied and industrial research, where industry is the lead and academic research organizations are the knowledge partner for this thing. So we are trying to create innovation model to gain access to market. Now, of course, getting access to market is a little difficult in developed countries, but it is easier to get in countries which are not technologically as advanced as India, where we could also demonstrate our scientific capabilities. We are also creating world-class facilities, center of excellence through international cooperation. And also, science and technology is being used to develop geopolitical relationship. Now, I must tell you how it is done. Normally, when foreign ministry, we call it external affairs ministry, they are talking with another government, another ministries, of another foreign ministry. They are using some tools because political willingness is one, but then they are looking for some soft tools. So soft tools are cultural relations or sports relations, which are very easy to establish and people could go and here and there. Now, similarly, on the same pedestal, we have put science and technology relationship, and this is a tool which helps in further nurturing of any geopolitical partnership. Now, when we are developing such partnership, what we are looking for is how we are going to co-share objectives based on mutuality and parity. So this is something which we are doing with several advanced countries. We are looking for investment, co-investment and co-creation. So nobody should dictate. Both sides should come that what would be their investment issues and what would be the outcome whenever it comes, how we are going to utilize it. We are trying to mitigate the gaps in science and technology. So there may be a country which is having advantage or strength in a given area. Another country may not be that advantageous position. So we try to bargain what you can do for us, what we can do for us. Similarly, we are looking for technological, social priority gaps, how we could do it. So remember, tomorrow is going to be a time when economy would be driven by knowledge. So all trade, what is happening, all international trade, what is happening today would be converted into high technology trade. So it is high time that research and development takes a driver's seat for the purpose. And of course, whatever we are doing, it should be in the interest of human being. So whatever research, whatever collaborations we are going to do should bring value, should bring a smile to our faces. As far as India is concerned, we have our partners all around, except that we are little weak in South America. But in all other parts, so we are working strongly in Asian region, Oceania region, Africa. Of course, we have listed only 5 countries, but then we have a program with African Union, which provide us access to all countries, which is now here written in the multilateral program that Africa and neighborhood we are trying to cover. So then we have several multilateral and regional programs and mega science programs. This is all major projects which have India is participating around the world. And then we are having a lot of good collaboration in Europe and South America. Recently, I'm sorry, my slide does not show it, but we have also developed several thematic groups. For example, India is leading International Solar Alliance. There are mission innovations. There is International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, Malaria Research Initiative. So there are several thematic grouping which is coming. Now, if you see right now, this multilateral platform, these are essentially political platform which we are making use scientific development. But the new format where we have taken up an issue like I mentioned, so energy or some particular disease where countries are working together, that's a new kind of grouping. Now, India has bilateral intergovernmental agreement with 80 countries of the world, and out of which 44 programs are very, very active. Then we have regional and multilateral partnership with European Union, ASEAN, SAARC, BIMSTEC, Indian Rim countries, STEPAN, BRICS, IPSA, Shanghai Cooperation, and organizations like that. And then we are also member to the various international bodies like now SNT Center, the World Academy of Science, International Center for Theoretical Physics. UNESCO has a lot of program on science, UN Committee on Science and Technology Development, Carnegie Group. So there are several programs on which India is regularly participating. And similarly, there are some facilities India is making good use of the world. And this list is not complete. This is just a suggestive list. And if you feel that there is a facility which is good enough and would bring value to Indian research, and we are not participating currently, please let us know. Let us see if we could add that facility to our list. Now, when we are doing international partnership, we are using 3 models essentially. One model is technology synergy, where we are working on the principle of co-funding and co-creation. So whatever we are doing, so knowledge input, financial input goes from both sides, and whatever comes out, it could be paper, it could be patent, it could be product. So whatever comes out, it has to be co-shared. So co-investment and co-sharing. Technology diplomacy is the second tool which we are using for countries in Africa, in our neighborhood, Asian regions, where we are using our base in capacity building over there, understanding their problem, providing Indian technology-based solutions to their challenges. And then we are looking for technology development. Here, we are promoting industrial and applied research to promote innovation and techno entrepreneurships. And what are the tools? So we have got essentially four major tools. What we are saying is contact building or networking. This we are doing through workshops, seminar, frontiers, visitations, fellowship, student internship, lectures by eminent scientists, Nobel laureates, and fielding young researchers, students to international meets with their peers. Then we are providing support for basic research. Here, there are joint R&D projects. We are also supporting project-based mobility, training, and advanced school, and also access to advanced facilities. Then what we are interested in is whatever knowledge is generated through projects, it should be converted into some more intense programs like developing joint R&D clusters, virtual R&D network centers, and multi-institutional research and development projects. And then at the end, we would like it to convert into products. So we are looking for academia, applied and industrial research projects, promoting, we are creating innovation and entrepreneurship platforms, facilitating technology development, technology transfer, creation of joint ventures, and organizing technology summit with a country or with a group of countries. Now, these are various tools, but these tools are not with every country, because we need to understand when we are negotiating with our partner countries or partner organizations, we would like to pick what is suiting to their requirements. So we may have one or two tools out of all these four, depending upon the understanding what we are having. And first tool we are having is capacity building. And here we are taking help of fellowships, seminars, training, organization of summer and winter schools, or creation of virtual center and networks. These are centers of excellence which we are trying to do. Now, the first model of co-investment and co-reaping, we are calling it technology synergy, and we are having our cooperation with number of countries. And we have given you some example here in alphabetic order, so nothing to see that which one is bigger or which one is smaller. But this program, which I mentioned on the left side, Australia, France, Germany, Israel, Japan, Russia, Korea, United Kingdom, and United States. These are our program where India is engaged in through number of agencies on both sides. And these programs are quite large. On the other hand, if you see the list on the right-hand side, here we have arrangements with one or two agencies of a country, and our programs are rather limited. We are doing R&D program, R&D projects. So this list is rather restricted. Then when we are talking about technology diplomacy, so we are doing a program for the Asian region, we are doing a program for Africa regions. In Africa, I'm sorry, there is some mix-up. So within Africa, we are doing C.V. Raman Fellowship. We are inviting African researchers to come to India and work. Training program where we are training the institutions. Training program, we are organizing technology transfer. So this is one full bracket of Africa S&T initiative. Then with neighboring countries, we are having good programs in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, also offering them fellowships. Then under our Act East policy, we are working with Thailand, Taiwan, Vietnam. So a lot of programs we are doing. And then we are active with South America. Here, of course, our approach is with limited number of countries, not with all countries. In technology development, here we are primarily looking for conversion of knowledge into products. So whatever new knowledge is generated should be converted into products. And we are looking for several programs run by industries for under technology development. And then we are also promoting startup culture and encouraging youngsters. So we have some special programs in France, Finland, and US. What are the different models of promoting innovations? So we have one program with Asian region where we are promoting social innovation through National Innovation Foundations, research innovation through NRDC, and product innovation through FICCI. We have set up similar program for BRICS. BRICS is primarily Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And here the idea is to promote that more than 2 countries should be participating in a program. And if we could do this thing. We are doing industrial research program through a company called Global Innovation and Technology Alliance. And here, I'll explain it a little later how we are doing it. And then we are doing innovation promotion program with 2 African countries, Ethiopia and Rwanda. And this is an excellent opportunity for Indian industries, Indian startup, and Indian institutions to showcase what they can deliver for the betterment of society in these 2 countries. And of course, by the success of these programs, we are now receiving requests from several other African states, which we are considering. Then we have created joint research funds, and these are special purpose vehicles. So dedicated funds are available for some of the countries. So the biggest one is India, Israel, Innovation and Industrial Research Funds. Then we are having a strategic research fund with Australia, Hungary, and Portuguese. Also, we have dedicated pocket. And then we have got Asian, India. So what we are doing, we are trying to promote a lot of things from these regions. Then we are also offering some prize. These prizes, I'm sorry, this is not sure, it's not needed there actually. I'm sorry for that. So there are some international prizes which are hosted by India. And this is BRICS Young Innovators Prize, DST ICTP Ramanujam Prize, and Asian India Grassroots Innovation Prize. So this is something India is offering to the global community. And as far as DST is concerned, our delivery partner for various international programs are 3 centers: Indo-French Center for Promotion of Advanced Research, Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, Indo-German Science and Technology Center, and then one company, Global Innovation and Technology Alliance. Now, Indo-French Center is the oldest center which Government of India through Department of Science and Technology and Government of France are funding. And here, both come in all these 3 centers, the contribution of both government is nearly 50%. DST is the Indian partner for all these 3 this thing. And Global Innovation and Technology Alliance, we have created in partnership Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. And idea is that they could bring in their members, industries, to participate in scientific programs. Now, when we are talking about industrial research program, so there is a knowledge which is already developed, and then we would like that knowledge to be converted into product. So what we are looking for is a 25% model where Indian government, Indian industry is contributing roughly 50%, and similar contribution come from partner countries. And then whatever technology knowledge is going, we are looking for co-development of new products, IP, process, or prototype, which are targeted to the needs of Indian, partner country, and global markets. So this is how we are promoting our industrial research cooperations. Then for the 3 centers which I mentioned, Indo-French, Indo-US, and Indo-German, normally our role is that there is a governing body where we have got 2 chairs, which are normal government representatives. But then these centers are essentially autonomous in character. They are helped by their scientific committee. There is a director which takes day-to-day decision, and then there is a secretary. So these centers are autonomous in character, binational, non-government, not-for-profit society, and they are contributing both from Government of India, and they can also secure private fundings. And these are some of the facilities India is participating or India is hosting. So one of them is FAIR, which is under construction and expected to be complete by 25-26. 30-meter telescope, India-based neutrino observatories. So then LIGO facility, square kilometer array, and national large solar telescope. These are the facilities which are going to come in near future. But then we are having some facility like CERN. So India is participating in some of the experiment like CMS or ELISE at Large Hadron Colliders. We are also using beamlines at Ilera in Italy. We are created some low energy accelerators in Kurukshetra and Prayagraj. Our scientists are participating in Fermilab. So there are more than 150 institutions which are currently participating, but we would like this number to grow. The normal process of how we are doing it. Initially, Department of Science and Technology on behalf of Government of India signs an agreement for cooperation in science and technology. Under that, we create a structure which could be named anything: Joint Commission, Joint Council, Joint Committee, Working Group, which drives this agreement. And what happens that once this body is there, they ask DST to develop that what kind of cooperation you would like to do. So we develop program of cooperation. And this program of cooperation, once DST develops, it announces invite proposal, and these proposals are assessed through program advisory committee. Then on the line of, once this agreement is there, the agreement could be used by any other government department, like Department of Biotechnology, Earth Science, MIT, any agency. Or it could be either government department or agency like councils, CSIR, ICR, ICMR, etc. So they could develop a partnership with their counterpart organizations and have proposals. We are participating in number of engagements, and I'm happy to say that India was holding BRICS presidency last year. We are going to have G20 presidency later this year, and also presidency of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So these are several platforms through which our scientists could participate. And the latest among them, number 9, we have recently created technology transfer facility for BIMSTEC in Sri Lanka. Of course, we know that Sri Lanka is in a difficult time right now, but soon this facility would be active. We are also using, taking help of our science counselors. So in number of countries, we have put in science counselors, and they help us in developing new programs. They keep on studying what are the new developments in that country in terms of scientific outputs and how those outputs could be of relevance to India, what kind of thing we could develop. Then they are taking, and now these, in this background, what I have mentioned about the international cooperation, I will now come to the schemes on perspective part. So when we are discussing about the perspectives are different for different category of people. So I have taken here 4 broad examples of students, of faculty, of institute, and of country. When we are talking about students, they are primarily looking for overseas exposure. This may require admissions, this may require postdoctoral assignments. And main thing here is your acceptance. Now, many a time our students would make a complaint that they have written to 100 professors, only 1 responded, 2 responded, and nobody responded. my suggestion to our students is don't beg for a position. Rather, you should study the group where you are looking for your next connection. See what kind of work they are doing, and then try to see why you are a best candidate for them. You could tell the professor, I have gone through your work, this work, your group lacks such and such field, and I am holding strength. And if I join you, then I could do this. Collectively, we can do this work. This, I'm sure, would get you a better response than you're writing just that I'm looking for a postdoctoral assignment. I have done this work. Nobody is interested in your work unless they find it more relevant to their needs. Similarly, second questions, what it comes to is, how do they trust what kind of work you have done and how it could be useful? Here, referral works. Referral means something what your professors, where you are currently admitted, they write about you. They tell you to the your potential next host, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the things you know very well, what are your soft skills, and accordingly, this referral plays a very big role in seeking a position overseas. Next issue that could come is of finances, how you are going to manage. So normally professor may say, I'm interested to host you, but then I do not have any scheme or any money, any grant available to accept it. There you should see what are the different programs. So that is another study you require between two countries, what two governments are offering. And there are a lot of angel trusts which are offering scholarship if you get a position abroad. So you should explore all those options. Of course, if you are going early, like going for your graduation or master, these depend a lot of your personal finance. No, governments are not very helpful in supporting your study at undergraduate or master level. But once you cross that level, then there are programs with several countries. But remember, all these schemes are quite competitive. So you need to really prove your worth if you are looking for finances. I'm sorry, I have mixed up. So just a moment. Now, when faculty is coming in place of student, faculty is looking for three kinds of collaboration. It could be short-term collaboration, mid-term, or long-term. But their focus is on academic productivity. How many students they could exchange, that key criteria, and what kind of problem they could address. So if they could generate, of course, generation of new knowledge is the key goal. But then, besides generation of knowledge, they could also develop some products that would be really good. So the faculty must study what are the common challenges and how the corporation would address to those issues. And then faculty is concerned about regular funding, because if you are developing a long-term collaborations, so there are possibility of 2-year, 3-year support, but then how will you sustain? So you should study what are the different financial models which are available for such collaborations. And then student holds the key, because they would be staying longer, they would be exposed for this, they would be exposed for research environment working, whereas faculty could spend limited time in partner country. As far as institutes are concerned, I'm sorry, this is an old one. So MHRD is gone now, and it is Ministry of Education now. So idea is, if we are linking institutions, they should be guiding in long terms. And we should see how we could create new benchmarks for our own studies and how institution could be taken further. Now, now keeping all these things in mind, networking helps us. So one of the tools of networking is that you are participating in international seminar and symposium. And there are not only DST through SERB, but there are several other agencies supporting participation in these seminar symposium. Very often, institutions also provide limited support. Now, what we are doing through SERB, that we are providing limited support. And limited support means that for researchers who are less than 35 years of age, we are providing travel and registration. By travel, I mean travel cost, visa cost, and overseas medical insurance cost. And registration, we presume, will take care of your accommodation and your food over there. For those who are 35 year plus, we are supporting only travel. It is important that when you are going for such conferences, you already have one publication at least, if you are a student, in refereed journal, because that shows your research ability, and that will give a lot of excitement to the funding agency that yes, you could go and present yourself. For faculty, we are looking at last 5 years, how the faculty is doing in last 5 years. Then we are looking, there is a limitations that you can do it once in 3 years. So that is a limitation, but the freedom is, there is no restriction in terms of area. So all scientific, engineering, medical areas are covered, and you could participate in any topic of your interest. India, we have arrangements, and we are offering a lot of outward fellowships to our fellows. So we have arrangement with France. So we are offering Raman Park fellowships. We have arrangement with South Korea, where we are providing exposure to doctoral students. With JSPS, we have 10 fellowships. With Australia, 15 fellowships. UK, we are taking only Inspire candidates. So only if you are Inspire awardee, then only you can go. Then we are also having several programs, like meeting with Nobel laureates at Lindau. This is cyclic in nature. So 1 year physics, 1 year chemistry, 1 year medicine and biology. Hope meeting and Asian Science Camp meetings are done in Asia. Hope meeting essentially in Japan, and Asian Science Camp meeting of Asian Science luminaries. So India, it happens in different countries. India hosted it in Bangalore just before COVID in 2019. And then recently we have come up with a new scheme called SIRE, which is for mid-career researchers if they would like to go for a 3 to 6 month overseas visit. Then we have recently added some more fellowships, like industrial research fellowships, where Indian doctoral student could go to German companies. Wiser fellowship allows female researchers to a lateral entry into ongoing into German research projects. Nano fellowship is for those who are working on nanoscience and nanotechnologies. Then paired fellowship is a new concept which we have introduced. And here we are encouraging young researchers to develop research teams. So not faculty, but youngsters are developing by themselves. Then we are providing some more opportunities for overseas interactions. So one is BRIC Young Scientist Conclave, which is held every year in a member state. This year it would be done in China, and we are in the process of selections. I think last date is 15 July. If you are interested, you can participate. Frontier of Science, we are doing it with 3 countries, USA, UK, and Israel. And this is only a meeting of young scientists less than 40 years, and no scientific leader is participating. And these are scientists from different themes. So we are putting physicists, chemists, biologists, geologists, mathematicians, and they are discussing how they could develop interdisciplinary cooperations in time to come. Similarly, on the same principle, we are doing Frontier of Engineers, which is with USA and Germany. I'm sorry, this Lindau Hope and Asian Science Gap is repeated. It is already there. Then besides Government of India, you should also look for several other opportunities. So there are some famous, very popular scholarships like Fulbright Fellowship offered by US, Humboldt Fellowship offered by Germany, Newton Fellowships offered by UK, Erasmus Fellows, Marie Curie offered by European Union, and then several embassies keep on advertising. So you may not have heard, even country like Hungary, Belgium, they are offering fellowships. And also you should see several other Indian agencies which are offering like UGC, Education, Biotechnology, Earth Science. There are several agencies which are offering these fellowships. These fellowships are primarily at 2 or 3 levels, at doctoral level, postdoctoral level, and faculty level. So you should see which is the one where you are eligible and you could explore. Remember, all of them are quite competitive and you need to make a best thing. Besides of getting fellowship for the Indian researchers, we are also offering fellowship for the foreign researchers through various programs. So we are having fellowship for our neighbors. We are having fellowship for Asian region, all 10 Asian countries. We are having a fellowship for African researchers. We are getting French students as a bilateral program. So under bilateral program, we are having France, Korea, UK, Japan, Australia. And then we have a program called Vajra, where we are trying to bring in best of global faculty in science and engineering to work in India as adjunct faculty. And these faculty are expected to develop research collaborations. They can take research student, and also we connect the host Indian institution with the parent laboratory of the expert Vajra, of the Vajra experts. Now, these are all the provisions, but then what are the things you should look for? First is IPR treatment. You know, whenever you are going for international corporations, this is something which should be supreme in your considerations, how IPR is going to be handled. Who will own the intellectual property after generation of knowledge? And there are several things. Now, just to see, I have put another, this second block, are you being exploited? Now, probably you may not know, but there may be some backdoor entries or requests to provide you raw data. They may ask you to sign grant agreement, which you are not responsible for, because they may be responsible in their country, but you are responsible to Government of India. So you should not sign a document that what kind of undertaking they are taking from you. Similarly, you should not become an easy tool to provide them market access. So they may say that such and such technology will provide you such and such solution, you certify it, and then I enter your market. That is none of your concern. So please make sure that you are not being exploited. You are not being used by other parties. Then you should look for what are the security concerns. Now, normally, Government of India would welcome any international collaborations, but then there are some restricted areas, both in terms of geography. For example, we have some restrictions currently in place for state of Jammu and Kashmir, some of the northeast states. So if your project requires ground access in those territories, there is a security concern. Secondly, there are certain themes where government would not like to work with the given countries. For example, if you are working on the Himalayan region, we would not like to work with China. We could work with some other country, but not yet. So there are some security concerns which you must take into consideration. Each project requires material transfer agreement in case there is a material to be transferred. And in case it is biological materials, you require permission from National Biodiversity Board if you could transfer. There are certain issues, not only in terms of custom, but also in terms of environment, in terms of your healthcare, which require these provisions to be taken care of. Now, coming to the last part of my presentation, what DST is doing and how it has impacted. So we are doing nearly 300 new projects each year, and we are facilitating more than 1,400 visits. And as per the pre-COVID studies, that time India made a publication of nearly 135,000, 42.88, that is every 2 paper out of 5 papers was co-authored in with foreign collaborations. And these are statistics that highest was physics, then earth sciences, then material sciences. This statistics may keep on changing, but what is important that 2 out of 5 was the kind of international collaboration that we are going through. Then we have seen that impact factor of collaborative research publication is higher than those of national publications. So I need not to tell you that how impact of your paper is created, because it's read not only in 2 countries, but in several other countries. And we have assessed that highest impact was for German collaborations. As far as we are concerned, currently our top 3 partners are USA, Germany, and United Kingdom. We have created several joint patents with France, Germany, Russia, Korea, Sweden, and USA. We are doing industrial R&D program in 38 countries, participating in several mega science projects like CERN, DAISY, FAIR, LIGO, TMT, KK, Electra, Square Kilometer, ERA. And if you see in terms of products, what we have developed through international corporations, some of them may look like history, but these are the milestones for in several vaccines, drugs, optical telescope, detonation coating guns, Param Super. Now, Param supercomputer is another example, because how we could sell our supercomputer in global market. We first marketed in Russia, and we got some recognition, and that provided us market access. Today, you will find Param supercomputer in virtually all developing worlds. Then we have got the transport aircraft. So these are some of the examples which we have created, some of the products which we have developed. Also, we have done mapping in terms of getting subject that what is good here. So based on our experience, we have done that which are the country one could use. If you are looking for a cooperation in given area. So our study include mathematics, manufacturing, astronomy, agricultural, biotechnology, biomedical devices, clean energy, climate research, cyber physics, quantum technologies, engineering sciences, glaciology, advanced materials, robotics, sensors, and embedded systems, seismology, geohazards, grids, smart cities, water. These are just an example that are based on our support under various programs which we have developed. What we are doing now is we are reorienting. Earlier, actually, we used to agree to any proposal we used to get, but now we are going more in a proactive manner. We are focusing on highly innovative countries. We are trying to improve our own global innovation index. Of course, we had jumped in 25 points in last 6 years, but currently we are number 46 in top 50. But we would like again to come up, and our goal is to be in top 20. Then we would like to align our industrial R&D program with our national missions. We are having a good program of engagement in a top-down manner with Africa, neighboring countries, and Far East countries. We are also engaging Indian diaspora to contribute in national research and development and mission programs. And with this, I would like to close my talk, and I would welcome your questions. If today or maybe later, you can write to me and I'll try to answer it as early as possible. And now, if you have some immediate question, I would be too happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Varshney. I think this was a very wonderful and informative session, both for faculty and students. Uh, the floor is now open for discussion. I invite everyone to share their questions or comments.
Yes. Hello. Can I ask?
Sure, Dheeraj.
Yes. So, thank you, Dr. Varshney. Really very inspiring talk. We have been following you on the Twitter as well, because whenever there is any announcement on the DST schemes and all, I think you were the first one to flag it on the Twitter, which makes it much more easier in this social media times to gather the information. There are something like one is this BRICS kind of consortium where you bring multiple countries together. There is another call, I think, where the Human Frontiers Science Program, HFSP, which is like kind of more open-ended, that India can collaborate with any country in the world where you have 2 or 3 partners, you can apply for joint funding. But the problem is there is only 1 or 2 appointments which happen from India. Since is the government like kind of thinking to boost in that direction where you can have like multiple people participating at the open-ended calls, like?
Well, I think I'm not qualified to answer your question because the program you have referred to is done by Department of Biotechnology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how they are recruiting Indian scientists. But your point is very good that whatever international program we are doing, we must climb up the ladder. And we should see what are the opportunities, what are the possibilities where we could reach in various decision-making processes or decision-making structures of that organization. So it all depends on your scientific work, because normally whenever these positions are decided, they are done in 2 manners. One is by the election of the participating members. They decide that yes, sometimes it is by rotation. So all partner country, because there may be n number of position and partners maybe more, so they decide by rotations. Okay, we may decide in order of name of the country or decide in order of name of the individual participants. So whatever format they take, but India must do their best to get the positions in decision-making process. And I would request you to get in touch with Dr. Manish Rana, who is dealing with the program you mentioned in Department of Biotechnology.
All right. Any other question?
I think there's a question in chat box. Maybe I will read. Mr. Suresh Namdev is asking that my question is about India's Science Counselor Network. Currently, there are only 4 science counselors. Are we planning to expand this network?
Well, there are a lot of suggestions. And in fact, we have been feeling that in New Delhi, where most of the foreign embassies are located, we have got nearly 30 science representatives. They may be consulars, they may be first secretaries or second secretaries, but nearly 30 science representatives who are exclusively dealing with them. And if you are talking about some of the bigger countries, US, UK, Germany, they have got a very, very large team in their offices, science offices who are here. On the other hand, when we talk about India, we have got 4 science counselors which are recruited through DST. There are 3 from DRDO, 2 from space, 1 from atomic energy, 1 from agriculture. So we have got around 10 in different parts of the world, but there is a scope for a lot of improvement. We have suggested to the government that science counselor may be placed in some of the unrepresented areas. For example, Canada, South America, we don't have anyone. Africa, we don't have anyone. So maybe 1 for African Union in Ethiopia and other places. Then in Europe, we could have a couple of more, including 1 for the EU headquarters in Belgium. We are looking for representation in China and Israel, in Asian regions, and then in Australia. So this is the proposal, but then I don't know how long it will take for this proposal to come up.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ishwar has a question that is there a funding capacity building for VLSI?
Well, VLSI is a subject being dealt by MIT. So the major funding for VLSI will come from MIT. Limited funding because we are supporting research in all areas. So you could explore through our domestic or national programs, and limited funding for this program will be available from DST.
Maybe as a professor, I have one small other question.
Yeah, please.
Last week in New Delhi, there was this meeting where India and France came up together to introduce joint educational programs. Like, for example, MSc degree or MTech degree between India and France, where two universities, one from France and one from India, will come together. A student will get fellowship first year in India, second year he goes to France, and he or she goes to France and complete that. I think that was really good. And at that level, I would say at the education level, undergraduate and postgraduate, there are a couple of institute level and national level programs where students go. Like at IIT, we have programs at JIS, Japan, joint programs. How about translating them into the research? Like, for example, some joint PhD fellowships where an American university ties hands with India, a student is enrolled jointly, kind of both governments put in, like, some, if there's any plan along those lines.
No, if you see our national education policy, which was released a couple of years ago, we are talking about internationalization of our campuses. Okay. We are into more of student recruitment and also faculty recruitment, and like to see various nationalities here. But just to make aware that DST is not involved in any degree-linked program, which is mandate of Ministry of Education. But then, if you see, even before NEP, some of the IITs like IIT Bombay established with Monash University, IIT Delhi is doing with the Queensland University. So they have identified a potential partner where they could have seamless connections of students, and it could be exchanged. So it depends upon IIT. We are going to launch a new core with Germany, what we call International Research and Training Groups. And here we are looking for a connections of 2 periods of 4.5 years and 4.5 years. So essentially up to 9 years it could be done. And of course, the plus sign says that after 4.5 years, it would be reviewed. Now, if you get a 9-year project, what we are looking for is that at least from each side, there are 5 to 6 faculty involved, and each one of them is looking for PhD program. So what we are looking, our ask is that when you complete 9-year assignment with at least 10 faculty involved, it should result into 50 PhDs and 100 publications. And government would provide a lot of support for this purpose, where you could exchange students under these fellowships.
Thank you, sir.
So we can quickly see if the students have any question. Any student have any question? All right. Any other question? Any other question from anybody? In any case, I think Dr. Varshney, the students can always write you email in your email ID if they have any specific question. So I think with that, we have come to the end of this very exciting session. I personally thank you for accepting our invitation and agreeing to give this talk. I now request my colleague Dheeraj to kindly conclude this with his vote of thanks.
Yeah, before he goes, I must also express my thanks. And also, I forgot, it's a very important day today, Guru Purnima. So my greetings to all faculty and all students on this very, very pious day. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varshney. Actually, we at IIT Gandhi Nagar, we have a R&D cell where we keep a watch. We also have a small database called Grantopedia, where we connect the information from DST, DBT, ICMR, various funding bodies, and then like periodically we interface with the faculties and students to disseminate the information. And one of the ventures which we were looking for was to kind of like have people like you who are the direct, who have the information, who can like kind of give to the audience and the people here. The first one was, I think last year, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who was the ex-secretary of DST, he visited in person. We would have been loved if you would have come here in person to see the campus and visit us, but maybe we keep that opportunity stored for the next future meetings. We also, I think, had Krishna and us, we had a BRICS discussion meeting 2 years back before the COVID. But we would love to invite you all to the campus here at IIT. And if some meetings DSU would like to have here, we will be honored to host you all here. And thank you very much for this really informative talk. And it's a pleasure to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll then close the recording, and I'll share it with you. Thank you, Dr. Varshne.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.